The National Assembly Speaker, Nosiviwe Nqakula, has declined a request by ATM leader Vuyo Zungula for a secret ballot on the Section 89 panel report. Zungula wrote to the Speaker last week requesting for MPs to be allowed to vote by secret ballot when the National Assembly considers the panel's report tomorrow, which found that President Cyril Ramaphosa has a case to answer to Parliament over the Phala Phala saga. Well, Parliament spokesperson Moloto Motapo elaborates further. And then for now, though, we are now joined live by SABC reporter in Parliament, Lulama Matya. A very good afternoon to you, Lulama. All right, so let's talk about what we're to expect tomorrow. Certainly, we know that it's a big day for parliamentarians and really the country at large. What is it looking like at the moment when we're looking at Parliament in terms of whether or not they would want to? We've certainly heard from some of the opposition parties they'd want to adopt the Section 89 report and findings.
Good morning, good afternoon, Flo, and the viewers at home. Today it's Monday, Flo. It's quiet here in Parliament, but of course Tuesday we expect to see fireworks. If we are going by what some of the opposition parties are saying, the House is expected to sit from 10 o'clock. It's a long day tomorrow, Flo, because there's the various number of issues that the National Assembly must conclude before they rise for the holidays. But of course, the most important one is the Section 89 panel report, which is expected to be adopted by Parliament. Normally what happens is that whenever a report is tabled in the National Assembly, it must be adopted. It does happen that it is adopted unanimously, but if there are objections from other parties, then that report will be adopted via voting. In this case, the ATM requested a secret ballot because the party is saying that there might be ANC MPs who would want to vote for the establishment of the Section 89 committee or impeachment committee. But if they vote openly, they fear that they might be reprimanded. Well, of course, the Speaker has declined that. And we know that, Flo, the issue of secret ballot has been an issue that has been ongoing in Parliament. If we remember the years back, former President Jacob Zuma, when there was a motion of no confidence on him, and it was various motions, there were about 8 on him. At some point, some opposition parties wanted a secret ballot. The Speaker at the time refused. That matter was taken to court. But Flo, court cannot dictate to Parliament as to how they can conduct their business. Yeah. Even in this case, the previous Speaker, Thandi Modise, was also taken to court on this matter. Nosiviwe Mapisa Nqakula as well. The court does not dictate to Parliament. It's the decision, it's the discretion of the Speaker to allow that. And we have heard that today there is not going to be a secret ballot. If the ATM decides to take the matter to court, it will mean, therefore, that it cannot be finalized. The report cannot be adopted tomorrow because that court will have to take its process. If it is, maybe it will take the matter on an urgent basis. We will hear then what the court will say. Maybe the court will treat it as an emergency, and or maybe the court will say there's nothing emergent about it, and it will mean that the report then will take time for it to know whether it is adopted or it will be killed, as some of the ANC MPs are saying that they will close the matter, they will not adopt that report, they will vote against it.
All right, maybe it's important then for you to paint a picture for us. You know the parliamentary processes. I think for both scenarios, if you can paint a picture for our viewers, what happens if that vote is to adopt the report and its findings, and what happens if they choose not to? Perhaps if you can paint a picture in both scenarios. I mean, we've been hearing the word impeachment, being thrown around. What's the actual process and what actually then happens?
Okay, let me start, Flo, by saying that that report needs a simple majority for it to be adopted or not. So let's say, for instance, that if it is adopted, then it would mean that Parliament will have to establish that impeachment committee. Then that will kickstart the process of impeaching the president. What will be that process like? If viewers can remember, at this point in time, there is a Section 194 committee, the inquiry against the suspended public protector, Advocate Nosiviwe Mkhwebane. I suppose that that impeachment committee will go that route. At the end of the day, they will hear evidence from the president and other role players and then decide and take a decision whether to impeach the president or not. And we know, Flo, that the Constitution, on the grounds of impeachment, if the president can be impeached, if the head of a Chapter 9 institution can be impeached, if a judge is impeached, those people, they lose their benefits. So there are those issues on the grounds of impeachment. Hence, maybe we can say that when the president initially received the report, and we hear people saying that he wanted to address the nation and resign, maybe he was thinking about those implications, because impeachment is serious other than stepping down voluntarily. But then he was, as the reports are saying, he was advised not to resign and take the report for review. So it's along those lines. If the report is adopted and members kickstart that process of impeachment, but impeachment will need a 2/3 majority. It's not just a simple majority. So whichever party will move for the impeachment, they must show that they have numbers in the House, they have 2/3 majority for impeachment to be done. Otherwise, if the ANC tomorrow have their numbers and they vote against the report as they are saying, that will be the end of the story.
All right. Lulama Matya, many thanks to you. We'll certainly catch up with you tomorrow, no doubt. That's our senior reporter based in Parliament, Lulama Matya. They're kind of telling us what we should expect tomorrow as parliamentarians weigh in really on the Section 89 panel report. They will decide whether to adopt the recommendations or not.